With the recent announcement of Xenoblade Chronicles X, I've been seeing the question of where do I start the Xenoblade series pop up a little bit more often now. So I thought I'd make a quick and easy guide to let those who are curious and want to jump into this series can have a full and complete understanding on the path that they should choose to begin their journey with Monolith Soft's now massively successful JRPG series, Xenoblade Chronicles. Man, I wonder how it feels to be an Operation Rainfall believer at this point in time. To see where Xenoblade Chronicles started and where it is now is pretty incredible. Now, first off here, I'm gonna make things very, very easy for you guys listening. If you're somebody that enjoys picking up on all the little subtle references, details, putting the puzzle pieces together, seeing potential returning characters, connecting timelines, plot threads, all that stuff, the easiest way to play this series is in release order. Start with Xenoblade Chronicles 1, then Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and finally Xenoblade Chronicles 3, while playing each of their respective DLCs or expansions after you've beaten the base game. So, Future Connected would be after Xenoblade 1, Tour to the Golden Country would be after Xenoblade 2, and Future Redeemed would be after Xenoblade 3. Oh, but Cyrus, well, what about Xenoblade Chronicles X? Where does that fit into the timeline? That's a very good question, Adel. Seeing as this game is in a bit of a unique predicament at this point in time, we'll save that for the end of the video. But now let's jump into specifics on the various games and discuss whether or not any of them serve as alternate entry points. Now, this isn't really a problem anymore, seeing as all the games are now available on one platform, being the Switch, so pretty much starting at the beginning should be how most people get into the series at this point in time. But if you're somebody who's maybe short on time, or you're not too sure about starting at 1, but maybe something about 2 catches your attention, or 3 just looks really cool, let's discuss whether or not that would be a good thing for you to do. Now, because Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is the definitive beginning of the series, I feel like that one's pretty self-explanatory. So let's just move on to 2, shall we? For the most part, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is pretty standalone. There does come a point in time where some pretty big reveals happen, some pretty mind-blowing reveals, that does connect the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 back to the first game. But the journey that Rex undergoes as he travels to the World Tree can definitely be fully appreciated if you're a newcomer to the series. It's just all the stuff at the end will probably go over your head, but it could definitely propel you if you're a bit nervous on starting from Xenoblade 1 for whatever reason, as at that point you will already have become invested in the world itself. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the one that probably most people have started from as far as a first entry into this series, since Xenoblade 2 definitely had a lot more controversy, we'll put it lightly.
Oh my.
Now, here's the interesting thing. 3 is a bit more complicated because it draws a lot more direct references from both Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, but a lot of those references are far more subtle. And again, the journey that Noah and Mio embark on, as well as the rest of the team, is once again something that can absolutely be enjoyed entirely standalone. But in my opinion, to fully grasp why Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is so special, I would definitely say to play the first 2 games before you jump into 3, as there's so many little references and nods and just cool details that you will unfortunately miss out on if you decide to jump into the 3rd game first. Now onto the DLCs. Future Connected, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition expansion, and Torn of the Golden Country, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2's expansion. Those both are best played after you beat the base game. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 3's expansion, this is an expansion that heavily draws from not just the base game of 3, but the previous 2 games as well, to a point where if you're a newcomer who started from 3 and you play the expansion, there's a lot that you will miss out on, to the point where I don't really think it would be a very enjoyable experience if you don't have full context for the things that happen in the previous 2 games. And now, on to the big question, the remaining question. Xenoblade Chronicles X, where does that game fit into the timeline? Well, like I said, it's kind of in a unique position right now, because the original game technically came out after Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and is definitely the most standalone as far as the Xenoblade games go. I would even go so far as to say Xenoblade Chronicles X is more like a spin-off to the mainline series. There's a few connections here and there, but it's nothing overt, like the ending of 2 or a lot of 3. Now, here's the kicker. Based on the reveal trailer that we got, it seems like they will definitely, absolutely be expanding upon the cliffhanger ending that we got in the original. What that could be about, what it could entail, the things that Takahashi might connect it to, are things that are currently up in the air, and are only things that other more in-tune Xenoblade YouTubers out there have been speculating upon. So until we get confirmation on what the specific details of the definitive edition will be, I would say to hold off on playing Xenoblade Chronicles X until you've fully caught up with the series, saving it for last. Now, if you really want to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, and you don't want to wait, the Wii U version is right there. You can absolutely play that game first. Maybe you saw how the world looked, you saw the gameplay, flying the mechs around the world. Now, yes, you won't have access to the multiplayer, unfortunately, but you can still fully enjoy the base game and all that it has to offer. All that it requires is buying a Wii U. Which, in my opinion, buying a Wii U just to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, as somebody who did that exact same thing many years ago, is totally worth it.
I like your attitude there, chum.
And regardless of what you decide to do, whether you start from the beginning and go through release order, or you decide to jump around at various random points just to get a feel for things and see if the series is something for you, I do truly hope that you have a wonderful experience with these games. The Xenoblade series is one of my favorite series of all time, and the reveal of Xenoblade Chronicles X coming has given me the perfect excuse to finally start talking about it a bit more. And with all that being said, that's all I've really got to say. Hope you got something worthwhile out of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. A very special thank you to all my current channel members and supporters over on Patreon. If anybody else is feeling extra generous and they want to support the channel, feel free to check out any of the links below. Take care, everybody. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.
All right, what's next?